What's up, everybody? My name is Crystal. I'm also known as the Sassy Medium. I am a professional psychic medium, Reiki master, and healer. Um, I've come on today to do some psychic development, specifically mediumship training. And I bought these cards specifically to help with that. So let's just dive right in, shall we? So I'll be showing you these cards today and kind of going over them. Um, all right, so the first one is Masters of Mediumship. Many pioneers, scholars, and tutors in the field of mediumship and psychic sciences, they've paved the way for aspiring mediums. Much can be learned from mediums from that over the years, especially mediums from the past that are well known, that can assist you with unfolding your own psychic abilities and develop them safely and wisely. All right, you can gain many insights from the invaluable wisdom and knowledge of those mediums that have dedicated their lives to serving spirit, right? Um, you can learn different styles and different ways of doing mediumship. But more importantly, you can understand how they lived and handled their everyday physical lives while using their gifts, talents, and abilities to help others, right? Um, Researching some of these past mediums as well as studying present day experienced mediums and teachers will help you gain inspiration and guidance. Be very choosy, all right, when you're picking those, make sure that they resonate with you. The ones you consider to be authentic and who treat the work with the highest regard, don't copy them, but learn from them and adjust to your own way of doing your mediumship practices, okay? Learn from them. Like I said, be yourself and ask spirit, please help me to work the way you want me to work and not the way I want to work. By doing so, you're opening yourself to new ways of learning as well as new experiences, and you become a wiser and more authentic and accurate medium. Okay. All right. The next card I want to go over with you is evidence of spirit. The process of validation, is an essential part of authenticating the identity of a spirit when creating this link. Okay. Helping to confirm the identity, the continuation of life, okay? Unless a medium can validate the connection with evidence, it's unlikely to be considered authentic mediumship, all right? A medium working with absolute integrity will only ever stand the test of time by the quality of their evidence. When a spirit provides evidence that's totally supported by true life events and facts, the healing connection with the loved one and with your client is one of the most powerful occurrences to witness, okay? Evidence is received through the spiritual senses. A spirit will create a strong link to support the relationship to the sitter, to your client, and offer evidence such as physical features, names, jobs, family connections, and special memories. There's nothing that can't be accessed, okay? When connecting, use all of your senses and tell your client what you're seeing, feeling, hearing, okay? That's being given to you by, their departed loved one, all right? It's okay to be a little proactive and ask the spirit some questions, like what's your relationship to the client? What did you do for work? How many children did you have? Do you have any defining physical features? I will say, as an experienced and professional medium, that, you get only what they show you and what comes through. Sometimes, your client will have an expectation of how the reading is going to go, and it doesn't go that way. So they're completely unhappy. Okay. And you have to be okay with that. All right. Because remember, mediumship is a very touchy subject, okay? It's one that you need to be loving and compassionate, and not everything has to be told to them. They don't need to relive the moment of someone's passing, but you can give confirmation of it so that they know that you've connected to their loved one. Okay. So in this card, like I said, use all your senses. You can even ask for the spirit's name. A lot, I have a block with names. Okay. I will admit that to everybody. I have a hard time remembering people's names in real life. So I definitely can get nicknames way easier than I can get uh, actual names, okay? Because I suck at names overall. So it's one of those things that I work on, right? Never censor what you're receiving with your own interpretations, and don't be afraid to share what seems to be the most unusual information, okay? You might be quite surprised when your client confirms the evidence. Like, I was outside grounding before I did a reading for someone, a loved, what I call a loved one reading, all right? And I was asking for the spirit's name, details, and I kept getting the word cupcake. I kept seeing a cupcake in my mind, and I saw a little chocolate cupcake with some whipped cream on top and a little cherry. And, I couldn't get his name for her. It was her husband. And I said, I'm just going to say it, because back then I didn't fully trust everything, right? It's a process to trust everything that comes through also. So I said, I'm just going to say it. Do you have a nickname? She's like, no, he didn't have a nickname for me. And I got even more discouraged. I said, well, I'm just going to say it. I keep hearing cupcake over and over. And and her husband had passed like 15, almost 20 years. And she says, oh my gosh, I remember he used to call me his cupcake. So make sure that you trust yourself and spirit and the connection to get that message. I will say this, when connecting with mediumship, if your client is not believing, if your client is closed off, 9 times out of 10, that connection can't be made, because it is a connection where you have to go in with their energy and with spirit and yours and connect it all together. And that, when they're fully open, that's when the messages start coming in. So if messages aren't coming in, don't be really hard on yourself. Trust your gifts. You know that you're gifted. If you're watching this and staying watching this, that means that you have mediumship abilities and want to develop these more. And, you can get very discouraged, right? Especially when you get things wrong. But people have to understand we're human, and spirit talks at a rate almost like 100 times faster than we do. So we're getting flashes of images, and it depends on how you get your information. All right. So the next card is ethical awareness. All right. Service to spirit and strong ethical awareness are at the heart of mediumship. All right. Whenever you're offering, messages, they should always be delivered in a loving, kind, and healing manner. Remain conscious of what you're sharing. It should be relevant, authentic, and meaningful to your client rather than harmful, destructive, or hurtful. Likewise, a message should never be forced on the living or randomly given without permission from the recipient. All right. It's important to respect the living and their desire to receive from spirit. As mediums, we don't get to choose the spirits we communicate with. When they just come through. Sometimes we don't have a choice. However, if you're a really good, experienced medium, you can call spirits to you. You can open up that line of communication. You can open up yourself and your energy and receive spirit communication. So, like, let's say, I'll give an example. When I book a reading for someone, I always ask for a photo, because I do a lot, especially with COVID, I do a lot of readings online. People feel safer with that. And I'm in a very rural area, so I don't have a lot of actual physical clients yet, especially I just moved in the area as well. So until I build my physical client base, I have a strong internet, social media base. And a photo is just a doorway in to kind of see them and find their spirit in the ethereal, right? In the other realms. So, we can choose that way who we want to talk to. We just have to call them forth. no, 9 times out of 10, they already know and they're already nearby. They already know that their loved one is reaching out to you to contact them. And a lot of times I find that their loved ones encourage them and push them to come to me. So, nothing happens for no reason. All right. There's always reasons to everything. All right. Remember that spirit communication is a three-way process between the medium, the client, and the spirit. Maintaining a high level of ethical awareness, it ensures mutual respect among the medium, all right, the spirit and your client, the recipient. A great way to practice ethical awareness is to become mindful of your own behavior and how it impacts those around you. If you feel you're being overly judgmental, for instance, take a moment to breathe in the energy of compassion, okay? Notice how your behavior changes as you adapt and even change your ethical values. This will help you see the world without judgment and become the best medium you can be. All right, I got 2 more cards. All right, so impression versus expression. All right, there are multiple ways that we receive information from spirit. It could be in words, images, or even feelings. Okay, it depends on what clairs you have and what are your strongest clair, sentient, clair, cognizant, all of those clairs. Just know that how we relay or express the information back to your client must be carried out with due consideration and the utmost care and sensitivity. All right. Many mediums are taught that you should always give what you get when delivering a message. In a sense, that's true. But as mediums, we must honor that many people look to us to assist them with their grief and are often still distraught, no matter how much time has passed since their loss. All right. I will say that as a professional medium, I will not read for anyone who has someone that's passed within a month. Both sides need an adjustment, period. People think that, especially if they passed in a very harsh and sudden way, they need time to adjust on the other side too. There can be confusion. There can be sadness. Just because they lose their skin, they still are the same person. They're still the same energy, the same soul. That never changes for anybody. All right. Always remember that while we must be open to any spiritual impression, we are responsible for conveying a very sensitive message. Okay. People pass over to the spirit world in a variety of ways, from natural causes, unexpected illness, and other circumstances. When you give off information, it's a delicate process. For example, if you're impressed with the scene of someone's passing, then you must be sensitive and discerning, okay, when you express the information to your client. It's possible they could be very emotional as they're still going through the bereavement process. And we have to be mindful of that as professionals and as mediums. Okay, they don't need to relive every detail of the experience again, because especially if it's a sudden and tragic passing. Okay, neither one sometimes, not even spirit sometimes wants to relive that or discuss it, but they will tell you how they passed, and that you can do as for confirmation. Any good medium will be able to give you confirmation of things that they can't find off of Facebook. Okay, I know that there's psychics and mediums and psychic mediums and even just tarot readers out there that will go into your Facebook profile and look at things. One, I don't see how they have the time, because I don't have the time. And that's a breach of their integrity, and they will suffer for that. Okay, so look for psychics and psychic mediums and mediums that can give you information that they can't get publicly. All right, that's a telltale sign of their gift and their authenticity. All right, communicating that you are aware of a type of passing, and if possible, which area of their body was affected, as well as their relationship to your client, is often enough evidence for the person to realize that they are are connected with their loved one. Be kind and compassionate, as having an inherent sensitive nature is always a great asset for any medium to possess. All right. Now, your last card is inspirational mediumship. All right. Has a thought or idea suddenly appeared seemingly out of nowhere? Have you even given words of wisdom to someone, yet the advice didn't seem to come from you, but through you? This could be evidence that you were possibly spiritually inspired, quote unquote, right? Inspirational mediumship is when spirit inspires the spirit within us, all right, our higher self. And through this type of mediumship, amazing works of art, literature, and even advances in science and technology have been created in the physical world for centuries. Okay, isn't this a beautiful card? I love this card. When advice and guidance is spiritually inspired, whether to one person or a larger audience, that can, whether to one, like I said, that can make the experience even more extraordinary. When spirit inspires us and we don't let our own minds cloud the information, there are no limits to what can be achieved. If you're ready to try this type of inspirational mediumship, then I have an exercise for you, okay? You can do this alone or you can do it with a group. All right, so I've got them here. We're going to do it. I'm not really going to do it with you. I'm going to show you how to do it. All right, so what you do is put a selection of written words in a basket, bowl, whatever. On small pieces of paper, write down words. All right, so I wrote on these pieces of paper, I wrote one for love. I don't know which one's which, but one for love, one for hope, one for faith, and one for trust. So the exercises, put them in the bowl. Make sure you don't know which is which. All right. I don't know which is which. All right. Focus on them. Focus on those 4 words. I wouldn't do more than 4 because especially if you're just starting out and trying to practice your psychic development and mediumship skills, I wouldn't do more than 4 because it's difficult. Okay, you can even do it with 2 or 3. I wouldn't do it with 2. I would do it with 3 or 4. All right. So choose a word out of those 4 words that you wrote down. Take a moment to blend with your spirit and let the words flow into your mind. Speak without pausing for a minute or two, one on the word you've chosen. All right. Let your guides assist you and speak from your heart. At first, you might draw a blank, but in time, wonderful and inspirational wisdom can happen. So I would sit here and focus. All right, I'm wanting to pick out the word love keeps coming into my head. So I'm going to try to pick out the word love. And I could get it wrong, okay? I'm going to feel each paper. Okay, I'm going to feel each paper and see. I really feel like it's this first one I grabbed. So let me see. And what do you know? I was hoping I wouldn't get it wrong. But how I did this, okay, is the word, out of all the words that I picked, love just kept popping into my head. I kept seeing a red heart and I kept seeing the word love, okay? And then I just instinctively picked the paper. It was between 2. And the minute I put both papers in my fingertips, I felt more drawn to this one and I just had to trust that I was right, okay? Fear of getting things wrong can block you as a psychic medium, whatever. So, yay. All right. If you don't get it right, it's okay. It just means that you need to fine tune and ask spirit to help you and have patience. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of this. If you have any questions or, any tips, please comment below. All right. Take care. Bye, everybody.